Hello! So I went to the cinema yesterday intending to see Doctor Sleep, which is the Shining sequel, but I turned up to the showing half an hour late. And I said to the guy behind the counter, "What's the next film that's on?" And it was Frozen 2. So this is my Frozen 2 review. I did go see Doctor Sleep afterwards. It was fine. Before we get into spoilers and ruin the whole film, quick spoiler-free rundown. Is the film good? Yes. Is it as good as Frozen, the first one? No. Which is exactly what I was expecting going in, and probably the same thing everyone else was expecting, because you are very rarely going to get a sequel that surpasses the original. The movie's fine. If you liked the first one, you'll like this one. It suffers from the exact same problems that every other sequel suffers from, in that it doesn't know what to do with all the characters. So our main cast is Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, and Olaf. The movie only really wants to focus on Elsa and Anna because that's the only thing everyone cares about, and for good reason. Kristoff is boring and Olaf is annoying. The film doesn't know what to do with them, so Kristoff is relegated to like a B plot, which then gets dropped from the film for like the entire second half. Like, he doesn't do anything for like half the movie. The Elsa Anna stuff is pretty good, but it doesn't go as deep into any of the story stuff as I would want. And I understand that this is a kid's film and it's kind of heading in the direction of some pretty heavy stuff. It would have been really interesting to see it try and tackle some of this. And I'll get more into that in spoilers. Basically, if you were planning on going to see it anyway, don't let me stop you, it's still like a good time. There's some catchy songs, none of them are as good as the songs from the original. It suffers from the same problem as the original, where the front half of the film is loaded with all the songs and the back half barely has any, which is a shame. But the new songs are good. There is some very minor character stuff in there. Mostly you're just going and you're going to have a nice time and you're not going to think about it too much. When you rewatch Frozen, maybe you can turn it into a double bill and chuck Frozen 2 on the end. I would imagine Frozen 3 is going to happen because Frozen was huge. Frozen 2 is having like a massive opening. It's going to make enough money. I'm sure they'll be able to get some kind of sequel together. So we will end up with a Frozen trilogy probably, and maybe that one will do something more interesting. Okay, so let's get into spoilers. So the movie opens with like a flashback and we have Elsa and Anna as kids. It's very cute and they're talking to their parents and their parents are telling them a story about, it's a true story about the time that their grandfather went to meet with a tribe that lives in the forest near Arundel. And so their grandfather has built a dam for these people, supposedly to help them like get more water or something, and that's going to be the start of some kind of peace treaty. Everything's going to be good between these two people. But the woods that are nearby are enchanted, and the tribe kind of uses the magic of the woods in their day-to-day life, and it's the four classic elements: fire, water, air, earth. They've got this peace treaty going on, and then everyone starts fighting for no reason. Oh no! And the forest gets covered in mist and everyone gets trapped inside. And no one can go in and no one can come out. And luckily, Elsa and Anna's father gets out. He's still a kid at the time. He gets out and gets back to Arundel. No one else does. And no one's gone back for like 30 years. Back in present day, it's a few months after the events of the first film. I can't remember if it explicitly says how long it is. But Elsa starts hearing voices that are kind of calling her to the enchanted forest, and she like magically wakes up all the spirits and they kind of destroy Arundel. They have to evacuate all the people, like all the water goes, there's fire like messing up, all the earth like starts shaking and destroying stuff. So they evacuate all the people and the whole gang, Elsa, Anna, Olaf, Kristoff and Sven, the reindeer, have to go off to the enchanted forest to find out what's going on and hopefully save the day. This is confronting colonialism in the shallowest way possible. Elsa and Anna's grandfather was the king of Arendelle, and he went off and built this dam, and that was supposedly to, like, make a treaty with the people. But we find out that he built the dam for, like, his own reasons, which aren't properly explained. I can't really remember why he did it, but basically the idea was that they were going to build the dam, and then they go to the peace treaty, and then he's going to kill the leader of the tribe because he's scared of the magic. He doesn't think they should be able to use this magic, and that's why all the fighting broke out. And the problem with this is that this is the exact same Disney way of confronting colonialism that they have used in all of their other movies. I'm mainly talking about, like, Pocahontas here. The white people aren't bad. There's just one bad white person who made it all happen. No one else was racist. It was just their grandfather who wanted to kill this guy, and he started all the fighting. But once they find that out, everyone gets along fine, and it's not a problem anymore. Like, this is a movie primarily aimed at kids, and if you tell kids that racism and prejudice and colonialism was just caused by, like, a couple of bad dudes, that doesn't get us anywhere, because it's kind of just brushing over the past that we had. And, like, I understand that this is a children's movie and we can't get into anything too heavy, but it's very clearly, like, intended to be a story about colonialism and environmentalism, and it's not a great message for either of them, and it seems like they put that in there without really thinking about the implications. Like, they thought it would make a good story, and, like, credit to them, the story's fine. Like, it's a bit messy in places. Like, why did they build the dam? They said they were doing it to get the tribe more water, but they didn't really need that. And, like, how did it benefit Arendelle? I don't think it did, really. It's kind of confusing. Like, this is a big infrastructure project you've got going on there, King Runard, but, like, why? It just feels like they didn't really think through the implications of the story that they were telling, and it's a shame because they could have done a lot more with it, which they didn't do. The people who got trapped in the mist, like all the Arendelle soldiers and all of the tribespeople who live there, are still fighting 30 years later, until Elsa and Anna and the gang come along, and they just get on from that point onwards. It's like a jokey rivalry between the groups who live in the forest, rather than, like, people who are at war. And it's just very strange. It's a very strange kind of scenario that we find ourselves in. And I think it's very worrying that the conflict is resolved because, like, a few white people came along and just, like, fixed it. Skipping over all the heavy stuff, let's talk about Kristoff and how he has absolutely nothing to do. So Kristoff was, like, a secondary character at best in the first film anyway. And we've got to the sequel, and in classic sequel style, we've got to get all the characters something to do, but also Kristoff doesn't really fit into the story we're telling. What should we do with him? And so throughout the movie, Kristoff is trying to find a way to propose to Anna, but Anna is just too busy worrying about her sister. So we get all kinds of wacky hijinks as Kristoff tries to propose, but is, like, distracted or saying the wrong thing constantly, even though when he's trying to do it and, like, he's saying the wrong thing, he's not really. Anna is just taking everything extremely literally and the wrong way. It seems like it's a bit of a stretch to get to where she's getting to, but forget that. We have this kind of side plot for, like, the first half an hour, and then Kristoff plans this big proposal, and one of the tribeswomen, like, walks in and she's like, oh, Elsa and Anna have already left, and Kristoff's like, oh, okay. And then he sings, like, a rock ballad, and to be fair, it's very funny because of the way they filmed it. He's got the classic rock thing where, like, it's his faces, like, appearing all over the place. There's a very good, like, Bohemian Rhapsody homage with, like, it's his face and then, like, reindeer singing as well, which is quite fun. And then after that, Kristoff doesn't do anything for like the next hour. Basically, Kristoff is all B-plot, and then the movie makes another B-plot and just dumps him. It's amazing. Because Elsa and Anna and Olaf go off, and then Elsa kind of sends Anna and Olaf away, and they become the B-plot. And then Kristoff just gets dropped, and he only turns up at the end. Elsa goes off, and we get told that there are the 4 spirits. There's the air, fire, water, earth. But then there's a mysterious 5th spirit. It's very obvious from the start that this is gonna be Elsa, because she's got magic powers that can't be explained by everything else. That's kind of her thing in this film, is she wants to know what her powers are all about. And we get a thing where she finds the ship that her parents died on. There's like a bit of paper and it says, we're trying to find what Elsa's powers are all about. So like, great, we're gonna find that out. We find out that she's the 5th spirit, the bridge between the spirit world and this one, just like Avatar, The Last Airbender. It seems really strange making Elsa some kind of like deity in this film. Like, it's very weird. There's a bit at the end, her and Anna like meet up again and they're like, oh, I'm so glad you're safe. And Anna's like, you're the 5th spirit or whatever. And Elsa's like, no, our parents had 2 children. We're the bridge between the spirits and the real world. And like, it's very easy for you to say that. Woman who has magic powers and like just rode a water horse over here and like made a massive ice thing that stopped a massive deluge of water while Anna was just kind of getting rocks thrown at her. And like, they kind of do a thing where it's like an inverse of the first film where Elsa gets frozen and Anna has to like do the thing that saves her, except the thing that saves her is destroying the big dam. The metaphor for colonialism, she has to kind of trick the earth giants into destroying it. I don't know if this is meant to be like, she's kind of become in touch with nature, now she can destroy colonialism. It feels like it's got a lot of metaphors and they're kind of mixed up a bit, and it doesn't know what it's saying, or it does know what it's saying, but it's only gone like on a very surface level. It's not going to go any deeper. It's fine. I'm probably reading too much into this. If you are like a child going to see this film, you're going to have a good time. Like, it looks very pretty, there's fun songs in it. Olaf is wacky again, even though I found him incredibly annoying. I guess we can round this off by saying this film isn't made for me. No one in the film's target audience is going to be like, this is a film about colonialism, and it's a bit problematic that these white saviors turn up and just destroy their country's legacy of colonialism. No 7-year-old who's turning up to the film in an Elsa dress is like coming out of it and getting that message out of it. They're gonna go, wasn't it funny when Olaf doesn't know what's going on because he's young? Or it was really nice when Elsa like got a new outfit change and she let her hair down. It's not made for me, and I think the surface level reading is all you really need to like enjoy this film. Frozen 2, it's good, but don't read too much into it. Yeah, if you've seen Frozen 2, let me know what you think in the comments. I did genuinely enjoy the film. I'm just like overthinking it by a lot. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe or whatever you want to do. I did mention that I also saw Dr. Sleep. If you want to hear about that, I'm like a month late on that one though. I could do a video on that if you care. Either way, I'll see you soon. I'm just gonna keep going to the cinema. I've got my unlimited card now and I'm absolutely loving it. I've been to the cinema 5 times in a week. Like, it's a whole new world for me. Bye!